Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, Crossing New Frontiers to Conquer Today's Challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine.
In the first half of the 1980s, I described myself as a research mathematician that was in quest for new mathematical knowledge. My mathematical quest was to discover the fastest floating point arithmetical calculations that had not been described in any textbook on advanced computer arithmetic, a field of study called numerical analysis. I wanted to experimentally discover that fastest computation and experimentally discover it across a new internet that is a global network of 65,536 commodity processors. My mathematical quest was to invent how to solve the largest system of equations that had not been described in any textbook on the subject of extreme scale algebra. I wanted to solve that largest system of equations of a new algebra and solve it across a small copy of the internet. That new internet is a global network of 64 binary thousand commodity processors. These systems of equations of algebra arise from discretizing a system of partial differential equations of a new calculus and discretizing them with explicit finite difference discretization schemes. My mathematical quest was to invent the most accurate partial differential equations that will be more accurate than any partial differential equation in any textbook on the advanced calculus of the flow of oil, water, and natural gas through a porous medium, such as through an oil field. These partial differential equations arise from encoding the laws of physics and from using them in petroleum reservoir simulators that are used to discover and recover otherwise undiscoverable and unrecoverable oil and gas. To become the first person to know equations that are not in any mathematics textbook required that I foremost know equations that are known in arithmetic, algebra, and calculus. Wizardry is to possess the command of materials and possess it from the storyboard to the blackboard to the motherboard. For me, Philip Emeagwali, to contribute to mathematical knowledge and to be the cover story of the top mathematics publications required that I know calculus forward and backward and know algebra sideways. That quest for new mathematical knowledge was the reason most of my friends in the research scientific community were mathematicians, not computer scientists or physicists. Every Tuesday morning and at 10 a.m. of the first half of the 1980s, I religiously attended research seminars that were given by research mathematicians that were visiting the Washington, D.C., College Park, Maryland, and Baltimore, Maryland metropolitan areas. Those research mathematicians were at the frontier of mathematical knowledge. We are twice my age, and we are visiting from faraway places such as Paris, France, or London, England, or Moscow, Soviet Union. 10 years later, my mathematical maturity had grown, and I was ready for prime time and to share my contributions to mathematics. So it did not come as a surprise to mathematicians that knew me in the 1970s and 80s that my mathematical discovery was the cover story of the May 1990 issue of Science News, the flagship publication of the mathematics community and of the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. That cover story was the reason I was invited to deliver a lecture on my contributions to mathematics and deliver the lecture to the International Congress of Industrial and Applied Mathematics called ICM 91 and deliver the lecture on July 8, 1991 and to the global gathering of mathematicians that takes place once every 4 years. In the lecture I delivered at the International Congress of Industrial and Applied Mathematics, I explained how I discovered a serious mathematical mistake in the advanced calculus textbooks that were consulted by petroleum geologists. The mathematical errors in those calculus textbooks entered into petroleum reservoir simulators that were used to discover and recover otherwise undiscoverable and unrecoverable oil and gas. In computational physics textbooks, the governing system of partial differential equations for multi-phase flow of oil, water, and natural gas flowing across a porous medium could be classified as either parabolic or hyperbolic or elliptic. For a century, the textbooks on the mathematical physics of porous media flows incorrectly derived and misclassified those systems of 9 coupled, nonlinear, and time-dependent partial differential equations of modern calculus. The calculus textbooks incorrectly classified the partial differential equations that governed petroleum reservoir simulation as parabolic instead of as hyperbolic.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.